are going to be talking about network mapping. Network mapping is the thing that in any crowdfunding or in any opportunity that you have, we forget about the importance of it. Oftentimes, there are people who you go and you get a business card, you maybe write it down, and that's about all you do with it. You forget about them, and you just think about, okay, cool, maybe they'll work for me in the future, or maybe we can leverage each other, or whatever it may be. And oftentimes, I don't know about you, but if you go into a networking meeting, do you just get to that place where like, who do I talk to? How do I do this? Or maybe you just sit back and you see how other people are kind of schmoozing. And for me, at least, I'm like, I don't want to schmooze. Like, that's the worst thing to do. So figuring out the best way to network for yourself is really, really important. But how that relates to crowdfunding is combination of both community building as well as networking. And somebody actually said this to me yesterday, and she said, I just feel like community building and networking is the same. And I said, it's not. The reason why it's not is that networking is just this group of people who you have. Community is the exchange. It's a two-way relationship. People who are coming to these meetings because they're being offered. Then you're also getting to be a part of the conversation. This is a community. Networking is more like people who you might not know, you've met them once, there's not really a relationship there. So that is an entirely different conversation. So I just want to make sure that we are aware of like the network mapping today and that portion. Okay, so you all have the handout, and I'm not going to screen share this week, partly just because it was really slow to load this morning, so I don't want to take up more time than we have. So what I want everyone to do is, I assume that your phone is close to you. Yes? Okay, I want everyone to open up their phone and go to their favorites, or if you have and just tell me how many people you have in your favorites. 5. All right. Anybody else? 10. All right. Jennifer and Susan, you can take yourself off mute.
I'm confused. What do you mean my favorites?
Photos? No, in your favorites, you can actually tag people who are like the favorite people that you call, that are usually like a regular people who can call you no matter if your phone is on like do not disturb or can reach you in any way. Do you have anybody like that?
I didn't even know you could do that. I thought do not disturb meant do not disturb. No, I don't. So you want me to go to my contacts?
So this is, yes, it's part of your contacts. Absolutely. So like,
I don't even, if I go to contacts, I don't even know where to put favorites.
I think
it's in the bottom corner. There's a little star that says favorites.
Oh, so on each even contact, with the glasses, it's really tiny.
Yeah.
But each contact, if you wanted to add somebody, you can add them into your favorites, and that's where they'd live. That's
okay. So even my children aren't in here they should always be on do not, because I put do not disturb on every night. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, so you could just do the plus sign, and that allows for people to call in. So basically, the reason why I talk about this is favorites also are usually the people who you are first like top of mind. So when you're coming up with ideas and who you're going to reach out to, you're like, cool, I'm going to go to my favorites in my phone, or I'm going to go to the people who we utilize most of the time, because maybe it's the members in this space because we see them. Now, if you go to your actual contacts, like for me, if I switch over to my contacts, you have to scroll to the very, very bottom to get the amount of number, like how many people are there.
Oh, you don't want to. Oh.
I have 2,600 contacts in my phone. That's ridiculous.
Where do you go to find that?
So if you go to contacts.
And then just go to click on the bottom letter.
You have to go to scroll to the very, very bottom.
And I just want you to know that every time I changed over my phone, there's multiples. So there's like 5 of everyone. And my girls and I, we share a cloud of contacts. So don't cry, but there's 11,507. I know. It's because they double. Every time I transferred, there's like there's maybe one of something, but there's always at least 2 to 5 of the firehouse. There's 5, everything. It's awful. And I don't have the patience to go through 11,000 people.
Yeah. What I am going to be asking and teaching you to do is going to be maybe some of that. It's going to work that patience a little bit, and it's going to be hard, and it'll be tough.
It'll
and
be
there
my
are a lot.
Project.
Yeah, basically. So it is basically your phone is so important, but that's not the only place that you have contacts. You have it in social media. So Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter. For those of you who have a business, you not only have a personal account, you also have a business account. From there, you also look at, I'm going to show you this. This is my business card holder. I never know what to do with business cards. I am always like, what do we do with this? Susan has a solution. But we believe that if you have met somebody ever, any kind of interaction with them, that is so important for you then to get their information, first and last name. Then you need to write out in that the spreadsheet that I have, there's a network mapping tool. Would it be easier if I just showed it to you? Would that be easier for all of you? Yes, I'll just show it to you. I think it'll be fine. It's okay because Susan's going to get her stuff anyway. I woke up this morning and my computer was not on, like it had died overnight. That's why it's taking so long.
I'm gonna go get my business card book just to show y'all because I'm excited.
Oh, please. Yes, I love this. This is necessary. Okay, actually that was not that bad. You can all see that. Jenny, cool.
So this is my business card book. I put literally every single business card that I get into this book.
That's amazing.
And then you like you write something like about how you met that person. But this is such an easier way to do it. Sue, do we have the same book? Look, Sue.
Stop. That's so great.
Yeah.
Yes. I love it.
This is where we're weird in one spot, but like great in another. I couldn't organize my contacts to save my life, but I know where my business cards are.
You can do that. I'm curious about something. How often do you refer back to your business cards?
When I need to network, or if I'm like, I met that one person that one time, and like, where the heck are they? And that's where I put them. And
I don't do it often enough now. I used to do it more when I worked in a different industry because you were always looking for a resource. Right now, I get business cards when I go to the LAX chamber meetings. And then I'm like, oh, like last night I was talking to someone and I said, I really need a new accountant. I got to go back in there and get that lady because I remember those kind of things. So that's when, not enough for sure.
Well, so instead of keeping them in even a book, how great that is, it does like, how would you feel if you took the information immediately and put it into something like this? Can you all see this?
I have that for my clients, for my business, right. But I don't, and it's brilliant.
Right. We, more times than not, we have a CRM for our business. What we do, and the reason for those of you who don't know, CRM stands for Community Resource, Management is what it stands for. Now I'm like, is it C Community? Yes, it is. In my mind it is. If anybody looks that up and they're like, no, CRM stands for this, then that's good. But I'm communication. There you go. There you go. I was like, it's something like that. Sorry. Okay. So anyway, so we have that for our businesses. and we have it for clients. What that does is it allows you to
relationship management.
There you go. I was so off. Thank
That's
you.
Okay. Sounded great.
I just call it CRM all the time, and I'm like, oh, I don't even always know what the acronym stands for, but that's okay. Anyway, but what we do with a CRM is you plug in all of your information for the name and who you've talked to, and it takes time to sometimes update. And I think the thing, what I know that I feel is the updating component. It's always really tricky because it takes time. At the end of your day, you don't want to just go back in and think, oh, who did I talk to? But think about it like this. If you were going to the hospital and you were going to see your doctor, you've been to the hospital before, the doctor was coming in and you're doing maybe a follow-up for surgery, and they pulled up your notes and your chart and there was nothing there. So they were like, well, how do I believe you? They're like, well, no, you actually did the surgery. They're like, no, but there's no notes for you. Like, how would you feel? So it's kind of, think about that with every single client that you have. And then think about that same thing with everybody that you meet and encounter. And the reason why is because you really have no idea how the person that you come across and who you're going to interact with can actually help you in your campaign in the future. And the other thing is, you don't want to just say, hey, I need you to fund my campaign, and maybe you've never really reached back out to them either. So what this does is, if you've created the CRM for your network, it allows you easier access to each of their information. It allows you to keep it organized, and then you actually can send them an email asking them to be a part of your email marketing platform. Make sure that you don't just add them to your email marketing, let them choose. That is one of the big things that I want people to recognize within networking. Sometimes than not, we have, oh, I have somebody's email address, they must be a part of my email group because I need to build up my email marketing. Yeah, go ahead, Susan.
Quick question.
Absolutely.
Because I get a waiver from everybody. I might need to add the question on there.
Yeah.
I have a decent database of clients, and I was thinking about just sending a mass email like, this is my first marketing email. If you're not interested, unsubscribe, because in the old waivers that a friend transferred her clients when I took over a while ago at the spa, she gave me her database, and I think there was a question somehow that said, are you interested in this, in keeping up with email? And they would either just check yes or no, because a lot of people aren't. But I wanted to do the initial one and give them the ability to unsubscribe right away. Is that a no-no?
So that's up to you. That's a preference matter for you. I want my clients to have the choice. They want to opt in or not. So I actually like sending them an initial email that says, I'm getting ready to do an email marketing. What's the best way to stay in contact with you? Would you like to be on this list? That helps me. That aligns with the business that I have created and the ethics that I have. But it really is something that needs to go back to you. Just like I said, you need to do networking that fits for you.
Because these would be clients that I've seen, continue to see, clearly not right now. So I obviously, after all of this, I wanted to just give a quick blast, so happy to be up and running. And then
Absolutely.
Please feel free to unsubscribe. I like your idea. Had things been going the way they were going and I was sending an email, but I feel like since we've been in a disconnect for a couple of months at this point, by the end for sure, that maybe just an initial, hey, so happy, just want to let everyone know we're back up and running, and offering maybe a percentage off or something. That's what I'm saying. Is that not a good idea? Or start out the way you said by just saying, I'm going to be doing some email marketing. What's the best way to stay in contact? Or I'm excited to be coming back. So I don't know. My inclination would be to blast it out. Just say, I'm offering this. I'm super excited that we're back up and running, and do you want to be a part of these?
Yeah, honestly, there's no wrong way as long as you give them the choice to unsubscribe is my philosophy. I don't know if
I'm hoping in the email
Priscilla or Lauren have something to add to that.
Yeah, and that
Yeah, Sue, I would think, and we can dive into it, but if you add all of those in, and then they have the option to unsubscribe, I think it's good.
So we'll talk about that. I just want to know if all of the email marketing we've learned, if you have that option, but we'll talk about that later.
You do.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. So email marketing is great. And that's a really amazing way to continue to have conversations with people. However, it's easy for all of us to do it when you're one person or a very small team to continue to do a mass email. However, it's not going to always convert the way that you want it to. So you do have to find other ways to talk to the network that you are building. So, this is why we have over here your current network. We're going to go back to the phone and we're going to say people in your phone, 11,000 or whatever that really is, whatever that number really is. Sorry, there's a dollar sign. Just ignore that for now. The conversion rate. This is important to know because you need to understand once you have actually looked at the contacts, added all of their names into your database, you need to see who would actually convert. So there are people in my phone that I maybe haven't talked to since high school. Maybe there are people in there that are so disinterested in what it is that I'm raising money for. You need to kind of guess. This is very much a guess and an estimate, but hopefully your close friend will also be a convert. And so you want to make sure that you do start paying attention to the conversion rate. This is your personal email database. This is different than your company email database. If you have them the same, that is fine. Personal Instagram, LinkedIn, the company Instagram. Now, I want to talk about this. This is not something that's like company Instagram. I work for IFundWomen, but I also own my own business. This is not me going into IFundWomen followers right now. Like, just be aware of that. This is your company. It's not maybe the company that you work for. Personal Facebook, personal Twitter, so on and so forth. Once again, we're going to talk about this conversion rate. So for me, for Twitter, I have, I think, something like 70 followers. I don't engage on that. Rate is going to be very low because that is not how it happened. Your conversion rate is probably going to be highest where you have the kind of contacts that the highest amount of contacts and the highest amount of communication you have with these people. So if you haven't done any sort of email marketing before, just do it strictly based off of like mass emails. Sorry, it just says, can you all see me? Am I frozen? I'm good? Okay. Sorry, I just had a pop-up saying my internet is unstable currently. Anyway, so what this does is that you do have to really tap into what you, where the highest conversion rate is for you. Spend most time there. The reason for that during a campaign, if it's 30 to 45 days when you're trying to raise money, is because you are going to be spending so much time doing so many things that you're talking about energy again. You need to utilize the energy to get the highest amount of conversion to raise the most amount of money. So this just goes through, it gives you all the top, like all the different ideas. And so I want to scoot over here. So right here, this is where after you've put in all of the information and where do they, this is really important. So we were talking about email, we talked about our phone. What is really important is that you need to start communicating with these people in your network how you normally would. So sometimes that's face-to-face, sometimes that's text messaging, but meet them where they are. Don't just kind of try to convert them to say, for my mom, she's the person who I talk to every day, so it's easiest to talk about that. I talk to my mom mainly voice to voice. If I just sent her an email, my mother is very slow to respond to emails, like very slow. If I sent her a Facebook message, she checks her Facebook once every 2 months. That is not going to be the best to help communicate. So you have to pay attention to where you communicate so that you can go back to really pay attention to that conversion. That is why this is so important. The difference in what IFundWomen is teaching is that what every single crowdfunding platform does is utilizes your network. What people don't realize and are not taught is actually how to do it, and they're not actually really paying attention to anybody within their network who might actually be interested in the product that they're funding and or creating. So that is what, honestly, what makes IFundWomen very different is that we are teaching you how to do this so that you can get to a successful number and for you. So the next part about network mapping is how much will they contribute? If you have a ton of people in your network that are maybe in college, not career oriented, they are young, they maybe are hurting because of COVID, whatever that may be, start paying attention to how much they would actually contribute. This is important because while you want to still reach out to them, you also have to pay attention that they might not actually have the means to contribute to you. So you need to create rewards that are easily accessible. $10 rewards for like a social media shout out. Maybe it's a $15 reward and they get a sticker, something that is easily accessible. And you need to realize that if your goal is to raise $100,000, will you be able to have the network to get you there if most of your network is, early college or early 20-year-olds who just graduated college, something along those lines. So you really do need to think about that number. And now let's talk about that. If we do only have people who are in our 20s, how can we start building our network so that we can start having people who have a higher income who would want to contribute to what it is that we're doing? And this is important for you, even though it's a virtual time and season, does not mean that you should not be going out and doing networking activities.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Please.
When you say what reward will they most likely purchase, so you're encouraging people to purchase something to donate in addition to the contribute, like when you're saying $10 for a shout out or for, I'm a little confused by that.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. So, and Susan, I don't know, were you a part of like when Olivia was on the first call? I don't know if you were or not.
I was on your first call last Friday, if that's what you mean.
The one right before that, her name was Olivia, and she talked to just about that. So it was 2 weeks ago. Okay. Yeah, that's okay. So
this is my second week or my first, I'm confused, but I didn't realize we were going to be having so much fun in the morning. So
no, I love it. Let me backtrack then and just kind of go over that for a brief second. So, IFundWomen is a rewards-based crowdfunding platform. It is an exchange of money for a product that you have. So it doesn't have to necessarily be, it can be anything really. It can be stickers to t-shirts to maybe you have a product yourself. So for me, I actually did a crowdfunding campaign. I was raising money for a product line, a food production company. And one of our gifts was the cookies themselves. One of them was actually a recipe card, and I created recipes based off of this person's diet. So something like that. The thing is that crowdfunding works in two ways. You either have a rewards based or you have equity based. Equity is, especially equity crowdfunding basically means anybody who gives to your business will then get a share of your business. Rewards based is a one-time exchange where they contribute X amount of dollars, they get a small reward, and then you get to keep the rest of the money to go towards your fund.
So you can charge whatever you want. Like if a shout out obviously is free, except for the time for the person that's creating it. If you charge $10, you're probably getting $9 of that money. But if you're offering a product like a special purse or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
you have to find somebody who manufactures something for less so that you can make money on it.
Yes, we don't want you to. Yes, and there's a conversion system that we've created. It's a P&L sheet that was from the, gosh, it's not on this spreadsheet. It's on a different spreadsheet. It was on the one that was sent out last week. And it just talks about the rewards that you have, and it has a conversion rate in there.
Okay.
So yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Absolutely. So this goes to how much will they contribute, and then what reward will they most likely purchase. So great point, Susan, what you just said. This actually brings up something where if you have rewards that are, let's say, higher value. So I don't know what it costs for a membership for, I know it's a tier system, right? For membership
for forward female. So yeah, now it's actually just one membership, and it's $49 a month.
Okay, perfect. So let's say that's an amazing deal, by the way. So because the one I was going to do is quite a bit higher as an example. Okay, well, I'm just going to use them as an example and then kind of tie you all in. But let's say the reward or the membership was brand new and you were trying to figure out how to get more clients into Forward Female, and you decided, well, our membership is actually something like $1,000 a year. And I'm going to utilize crowdfunding so that we can actually create a way to get people in, like buy their membership, and we're going to test this out. Well, $49, and then if you just put in 1,000, that's a huge difference. So you're probably going to get very few people actually doing $1,000 and backing you that way, but you'll get a lot of people doing the $49 because it is a price point that is accessible for people, and you probably have a lot of people in your network who would actually back that. So that's what's really important is, yes, we have our own idea, but use the people in your network to really, it's a formula. It's basically, you say, if X person here, think about their life, think about what they do, if they would actually be a family or friend, and then how much would they contribute and what is that reward? Because the reality also is, let's say this person here might be somebody who is making lots of money, but you've only met them once. You really have no idea what they would want, like really what their kind of vibe is, but you want them to support you. So how can you then tell a story within your rewards that is encouraging them to actually back you and support you? And the gaming industry actually is a really important thing. Like, they're really smart about this. They're all about products. The gaming industry is huge within the crowdfunding space, and they do things like, oh, if you back us, you get a special card. If you back us, you get the game earlier in advance than you would actually in retail. Something along those lines. They're really smart about figuring out how to tap into the audience that they don't really know, but there's an interest there. And that's what's really important about what reward will they most likely purchase. So I want to go back to why you need to then still network during this time.
So we talked to pop on Elizabeth too, for Sue, Jenny, and Jennifer, is to really think about like crowdfunding, right, for your specific business of like, and I don't know if it was you, Elizabeth, or Olivia, just to kind of backtrack, it's like that one really goal that you're trying to accomplish, right? Mm-hmm. So really thinking of all of this through that lens. So like Sue, if you wanted to remodel your your studio, right? If you wanted like new studio, Jenny, if you like for the app, you like just to get the app like up and running and to do like that through beta phase. And Jennifer, it's really to like potentially, do a whole like video series like based on like, the content that you like want to share. It's like whatever that may be, right? It doesn't have to be that specific, but to that idea, but just think of it through that lens instead of like your whole overall business, right? Right now, it's like, what is this goal that you want to accomplish through what Elizabeth is like saying? Does that make sense?
Yeah, it's definitely, I love that you just mentioned that. Thank you for doing that. It comes back to what we were talking about last week with the target audience. It's the same thing. Like your target, you need to actually have a target goal in mind. What do you want these people to do? So is it to really fund the goal to, open a brick and mortar? That's great. But if your network doesn't have the means to get to the actual brick and mortar, what if you could do something like what Sue was saying of, oh, I want to do an email marketing campaign to kind of get in front of people. This is actually a really interesting idea. Well, I want to also do a crowdfunding campaign. It helps to market what I'm doing. And then here are people who are then have funded my campaign. And those funders then become clients of yours. And then you can start building out that relationship again with them, communication about what it is that they're wanting from you. So these become new clients for you, essentially. So anyway, so I want to come back to, on the bottom, we have all these different tabs: professional network, customers, women's communities. Okay, I want to come here to the community part. So we're all in a digital space right now. We all know this. If you are currently overwhelmed and inundated with the virtual spaces, I get that. But how can you come back and say, I am going to start paying attention more to specific communities during this time because it's going to help me build the business and help me get to the goal that I want? And so that's where this community tab kind of will work. So what part of your life is this funder from? Maybe a Facebook group, maybe it's a meetup. Meetup is now doing virtual sessions as well as of this week, I believe. It's a book club. Whatever it is, make sure you do know where they're from. And then if you're not really a part of a lot of like community groups online, I would suggest start kind of paying attention to some of the ones that are a little bit larger that still have a very similar interest into what you're doing. So the beauty and wellness space, I believe you're all kind of on that. Well, Sue is for sure. Jenny, I know you are too. And Jennifer, like you're all in some kind of health and wellness in some way, right? So how does this, so take yourself off mute if you would like to. What are some of the health and wellness spaces that you're in that are all virtual?
Me personally, I don't think I am. I'm so focused on like being part of this group. I'm not good about taking care of myself. So I might be confused by the question, but I'm on Instagram and I follow people that are in beauty, if that's what you mean.
Yeah, what I mean is, so there are groups online, Facebook groups, that are things like
that I'm a part.
Okay, so
like
do you have
specifically for what I do? We have an ASTP group with a couple hundred women. That's the Association of Sunless Tanning Professionals. Each individual brand of solution has a page, or some of the women that broke off of the ASTP and started their own thing, Babes Behind Brands. That's how I met Priscilla and Lauren. They held a function there. I followed them. That's a big group. It's more of an encouraging group than a networking. I mean, it is networking. It's all ultimately networking because everyone is in different states. We do all get together once a year. I should just hear you out because I don't think
No,
other
that's
than
good.
those groups I'm a part of anything specific.
Well, I think that's a great place to be. How active are you and engaging are you? Like engaged, not engaging, engaged are you on this place in that community?
Encaged? I don't know.
Engaged.
Oh, okay.
Like how active are you?
I'm like, nobody cages this monster. No, I am definitely engaged. I check it every day whenever it pops up as a notification that somebody said something. There's the original group that I trained with, and I know
Sure.
a lot about that solution and the stuff. So the newbies are posting like, oh, I did this. Is that okay? I have a problem here. I always answer their questions. But in the groups where I'm more of the newbie and these people who've been doing what I do for 10 plus years and own multiple salons, I'm all into listening to what they're talking about as opposed to giving advice.
Okay. And then, yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Jenny and Jennifer, are either one of you a part of?
Yeah, I'm a part of a couple of Facebook groups, kind of similar to Susan, where I just am sort of like always watching and listening and seeing where I can get plugged in. And like before all of this insanity started, like I was trying to go to like every single networking thing, like even with the Forward Female, like I was at 90% of those things. And it was like, I wanted to learn this stuff and I wanted to get into it, but it was to like make it a point to actually meet people face to face and kind of like see what kind of communities they're part of and like kind of join in on those. So yeah, I'm a part of a few good groups.
Absolutely.
I have like a bunch of groups that I'm a part of too since like before, like mainly a bunch of like girl boss groups, kind of like this. Like I'm part of Boss Babes as well because I bought their program like last year and I went to an event and so I'm part of that community because of like the whole program that they have going on, and I'm a part of a couple of other ones, but I do have calls every other Monday with them, but I just realized I missed the last one ever since I've been like, although it doesn't really conflict with this time at all because it's like at 11, but I just find myself more like immersed on this. And then I'm also like doing another coaching program to like launch my YouTube and my personal brand and all that. So I'm very active on Instagram. I try to now incorporate LinkedIn, but I'm not like, I don't know, it's just a different audience, right? You have to tweak your content for it. And I'm also part of Social Curator, which I'm not really active on either, which I should have been because Jasmine Star is like a big social guru and she teaches you how to like apply content and copy for different platforms. Facebook confuses me because I'm part of the groups there as well. Like I know a bunch of the like Boss Babes has a Facebook thing there, but the thing is, it's complicated because there's a business one and there's a regular one, right? Once you have an Instagram business, it makes you have a business Facebook, which I don't use and no one engages in. I just use my old one because that's the one where I have like all my friends from college and all my like people who would probably want either makeup lessons from me or skincare, since I also sell skincare, or like wellness tips. They'd be all on my original Facebook. The business one, nobody engages with. So it gets like overwhelming. So I just stick with Instagram, because I can be really consistent on it. But I am a part of these other groups as well. But I feel like it's more like they're kind of like in the same space. So it would just be for networking. But I don't know how I would be able to, I would leverage them for like help and whatnot and resources, but as for like actual sales and whatnot, I feel like that would be more in my personal Facebook or just Instagram as opposed to like LinkedIn and other groups where people are doing what I'm doing.
Can I say just one thing about the Facebook? I think is a good idea, even though it takes a lot more work. I am older, and I know you and I had talked about getting a certain thing of your stuff, your skincare line for older clients. There's definitely an older group, even though my kids are on it, they're on it for school purposes, but everything you post on Instagram, even if you're not engaging, it takes a little more work to get people to join your group, but you send invites. And then every time you get new friends, you send invites and friend all the people who are in your industry. And every time you post on Instagram, you connect it so it automatically posts on Facebook. Any story you put on Instagram automatically goes on Facebook. And people I'm finding are really looking at my stories more than my posts. So I'm starting to do that a little bit more. I just wanted to say that to you so that you knew. It definitely takes more work, but it can help.
Yeah. And all these things can help. Thank you so much for sharing that. I just wanted to point out a few things. One is that I love that you have the ability to be on all these different spaces, from Facebook to Instagram to LinkedIn. The reason I ask the question is it's wonderful to be a part of it, but you're trying to get money and raise awareness and actually market what it is that you're doing, but you want to do so in a way that doesn't feel so salesy. Everybody is trying to sell something to somebody right now. Everybody's trying to figure out how to utilize a particular area and make sure that you're the best and the greatest. So I say start building up in a handful, not all of them, but into a handful of specific spaces, and start really engaging with the people there. Having virtual coffee meetings with people that you find interesting. If you don't have a Calendly link, please make sure you get one. You can do like a 15-minute Calendly for free. And what that does is you can just exchange time and hop on a phone call. It's so important for you to start building up a network that is actually going to convert, and not just because you're a part to be the network. It's not actually doing you any favors just to be a part of it if you are not actively engaging in it. So not only that, I think it's really important to then take the information and be honest about what it is that you are going to then be building. IFundWomen actually has a Slack channel, so you can all get on there for free. Slack, if you aren't aware of it, is it's like a chat room app that allows for companies, groups to then have different channels to have these conversations with people.
Yeah, we're actually getting one at Ford Female, which is very exciting.
Yay! So that's really good. So you'll know what to do. And so I'll just end with this is that it's important to start interacting with a group that is already all about raising money and capital. So Ladies Get Paid is another one. Because you're going to then do that. So you can start learning tips and tricks from people who have done it in the past, and also see about actively then engaging with them in the future so that they can help you and fund your product. So utilize network mapping. We always say do it about 30 minutes a day. So that I know for some of us who don't want to get on or pick up a phone call, I get it. And if those of you who are introverts on here, and I think it was just Jenny, I think, who just left, so we can email her back or something. But I understand that it's not everybody's thing, and people talk about, well, networking is just for extroverts. It's not. Go with what you like. Seriously, like find the place that you like. There will be people there. Go with the interest that you are interested in. Don't try to force yourself into this space that doesn't resonate with you, because when you're talking about your business, it can be really hard and uncomfortable. And it's okay to say to people like, I'm introverted, I don't want to do this. This is hard for me to do. And so if that's really the case, even if it is virtually, then let's figure out a way where you can maybe have a wing person. I think Kylie came, right? A few weeks ago. Yeah. So Kylie Hodges is a wing person, a wing woman. She actually actively goes to events for you to like be the person to support your career and tell the world about what it is that you do. So find somebody like that to post in these different groups and start engaging with communities on your behalf.
I'm confused we network all the time. Like we network at Forward Female, and I feel like this is all networking when we get to meet great people like you, but I'm confused. Are we doing this networking? I know your specific industry is to get funding. Are we networking specifically to fund? Because I do network stuff now that I'm thinking about it, but I don't do it to fund myself. I do it to get business for myself. Hopefully people will want to spray tan, but is it the same kind of?
What's the difference between getting business for yourself and getting things for yourself?
In my brain, Oh, if you're considering business being funding, I'm thinking like charity when you say funding. I'm thinking that we're doing this so we can go meet people so then we can later do an event or help raise
Yeah.
money for something, as opposed to my daily business where, yeah, I want to build my business. So maybe this is kind of integrated and I was being one-minded.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it is very much integrated. Yep, it is. It's very integrated.
It's understanding and networking. So in any capacity, it's understanding what you want out of that conversation, right? Whether it's funding, whether it's a customer, whether it's just like a relationship, maybe they know somebody that you want to be connected with, or just expanding your network in general is super, super essential, right? It's why we have the book. It's so we have people that we can go to when we need it, and understanding what we want out of those different transactional conversations, and making them less transactional and making it really where you're both understanding what you need from that conversation, to where it's just not empty. So whether it's funding or whether it's building clients, you're really just trying to grow your network for the greater good of you and your company.
Absolutely.
We might just need to wrap up here in the effort of time. So is there any kind of last things that you really want to share, Elizabeth? And then as always, we will drop Elizabeth's information into the chat box, and you can reach out to her if you have any specific questions about funding.
Absolutely. I think that's great. I think the one thing that you can always do, feel free to be on my calendar, hop on a call. I'm here to help on all things funding related, business related. And then the last thing, like I said, it takes about 30 minutes a day. Don't let the overwhelmingness of the amount of context you have stop you from doing this. Oftentimes we see IFundWomen want to quickly jump over this particular portion of the planning because it takes time and it's annoying and it's tedious. Yet this is vital. This is where the money is. This is actually the people who you know. It's so important to really plan. This is like the gold for all of you. So I guess my biggest thing is don't skip over it. Even when it's hard and difficult, you want to be able to get to that goal, and this is how you're going to do it. So allow yourself, like I said, 30 minutes a day. We can all do 30 minutes. That's it. So that is all. Enjoy your weekend.